there seems to be a lot of mixed messages or misinformation about whether to keep them open or not open, and how how our homeless population uses a lot of our bathroom facilities in our parks. And so I'm trying to balance the spread, especially in
Yes.
our homeless population, when some of these park facilities are smack dab in our communities, and how
Yes.
we balance providing a facility in which to stop the spread from our homeless population while not creating
Yes.
mayhem in our tight-knit communities. What would your
Yes.
recommendation be related to that?
That's a very interesting question. So I can tell you what the recommendation from the best people in homelessness have made. And the CDC worked with the Interagency Council on Homelessness to come up with this recommendation. And for the homeless community, the best practice is to let them be at home, which is their home, which is wherever their camp is. Do not sweep them right now. Do not make it more difficult on them, because some have mental illness, some have addiction, as we know. But moving people around to new sites creates actually worse spread than containing it. So the best recommendation right now, is to leave people at home, which is their camp. Leave them be. Allow them to still have toilets. Allow them to still have access to basic services. Impress upon them with signage. You must stay away from one another at 6 feet apart. We are all in this together, or you could die of COVID-19. But I'm not perfect here, and I don't have perfect advice, but the advice from the experts is don't discourage people in the homeless community from doing what they have to do, because we don't want to have other spread of E. coli. We don't want to have other infections outbreak because of poor hygiene. We don't want people to get staph infection outbreak, which could also be very terrible if we let people be completely unsanitary and get breakdown of their skin. So my best recommendation would be, we have to trust people some and tell people we're only going to keep some of these essential services available to you as long as there's no abuse. And we also are proposing, and everyone's working on this now behind the scenes, some spaces where people can shelter in place, some additional beds, some quote home quarantine for the homeless, so that they have single rooms. It may come to that if we get an outbreak. Remember, they had an outbreak of hepatitis A in San Diego at one point, and it killed a lot of people because the camps were a nightmare and it wasn't well handled. We don't want those other problems to happen. But if I may, for 5 seconds, please remember this later when we try to solve our homeless crisis. You guys are very good, but we did not get adequate support to solve our homeless crisis statewide. And this was exactly why I was talking about that, because a time was going to come where we wouldn't want to have to deal with a bunch of homeless individuals potentially spreading or respreading COVID-19. Imagine how terrible that would be. If we shut down the economy for 45 days, an outbreak happened in our homeless community, we opened the state again, and then it spread. Imagine how that would be. We can't have that. So we have to be better on homelessness going forward, and I'm sure we will be together.